talked about it yesterday, just that chip on your shoulder. Everyone talking about a neutral AFC championship game, not even thinking about you guys. How much did that motivate you coming into this?
You better send those refunds.
I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. We ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. We ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. Back-to-back champs, kings of the north with it. Thinking they can hang with us, still ain't jumped out the porch with it. Long bomb to chase every Sunday, watch him go and get it. Double up on him, then we gon' double down on T. Higgins. Then throw Boyd in the mix, now you really iffy. Every Sunday showing boys how to really gritty. They try to shuffle up the game on us, but they ain't icky. Flip the coin, kick the toe right to the go and get it. Never know what's gonna happen when Joe drop back. He get shiesty in the pocket, I get shiesty on the track. Nobody on the team all pro, that's all cap. Most all around team in the NFL, that's all fact. Ain't came across nobody yet that seem like they can hang with us. They said we couldn't be Buffalo, but see how we call they bluff. Underdogs every week, they keep on trying to label us. Put your money on us, even if Vegas don't favor us. No matter what, we really came up, now it's hard to fail. I dare you come across that middle, Von gon' ring your bell. I know we under they skin, them boys built frail. Eli Apple out there chirping like a next tail. You don't want Salmon Trey to come off them ends. Rita clogging up the middle like a big body Benz. Right behind them Logan and Pratt, the turnover twins. Jesse Bates in the backfield just to clean up the loose ends. We just drafted Cam and drafted Hill. Instant gratification every time that they on the field. We can't go back to what we was, cause that's the loser way. It's been hard to throw on us since we picked up a Woozier. It's like win after win, feel like we could really do it. Zach Taylor doing his thing for the city, I give it to him. And I bet Samaji will find a hole if you give it to him. Hayden Hurst don't need a hole, he just plan on running through him. Just hand it off to 28 and let him do the dash. Getting hit by BJ Hill probably feel like a car crash. Every week it seem like Lou digging deeper in his bag. And if the game on the line, all my faith and money match. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. And we ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up. I'm from the city where they gotta play us. Fuck a coin flip, it's time to pay up. Don't cross the middle, 21 in the cut. And we ain't hiding from nobody, run and tell them it's up.
What do we say, dog?
That's right. They got to play us. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Turnipole. And as always, I'm bringing you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of the back-to-back AFC North champion Cincinnati Bengals. Now, do me a favor. If you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. You guys are awesome. I'm up to 2,354 subscribers. As always, that is awesome. I appreciate every single one of you guys. If you're watching on Twitter, X, or Facebook, and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so. Please go to the YouTube channel, Sports with Strawberry Ice. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell for notification. Every time I go live, you'll be notified. Also, exclusively in the YouTube chat crew, we're doing super chats. So if you got a question that you would like to ask Joe from Riverfront Bengals, or you just want to support the show, give me a super chat. I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, come to you for this glorious place down here. It's the Ice Cave. The Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. And of course, I wear it almost every day. I'm not wearing it today. I just got Bengals up. I got number 9 on there. But anyway, if you guys want any of the Jackpot Joey merchandise, the hats, the shirts, the flags, the bucket hats, any of the new stuff we got, go to jackpotjoey9.com. The beer is out. It's at Brick Brewery, and it's also at most of the major Krogers. Portion of the proceeds go to the Joe Burrow Hunger Relief Fund and the Joe Burrow Foundation. So we appreciate the support. You're not wearing cool stuff, drinking good beer. You're helping people out. What's up to everybody in the chat? Stranger, you were first. Brad's in there. Ross is in there. Joey V. Greg. What's in there? Greg. Darth's in there. What's going on? Natron's in there. Robbie was in there. What is up to everybody in the chat? All right. We are, 2 days past? 3 days past Burrow's injury. Still don't know anything. I don't really think we're going to find out anything till Thursday. See if Joe goes out to practice. Who knows? If he practices, I think there's a good chance he's playing Monday. If he's not, then I think that might be jackpot Browning time. Which, I mean, more I think about it, it could be worse. I mean, Browning can come in, get the first team reps all week, get ready, prepared to play the Rams, who the Rams are not the Rams of the Super Bowl. They still have Aaron Donald, who's a pretty damn good player. I think it's a winnable game, even if Joe Burrow doesn't play, which I don't know if he's going to or not. I hope he does. But let's discuss this a little bit more with my boy Joe from Riverfront Bengals. Oh, what's going on, brother?
Man, what the hell's happening, my friend?
Oh, same old, same old. Just sitting there trying to do a podcast, trying to talk about Joe's calf for the 8 millionth time. But other than that, nothing. How you doing?
He's got a calf injury?
Yeah, it's a small one, a little bit.
News to me.
Some people talked about it. I mean,
absolutely news to me. When did this? Where have I been? My head been in the sand?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it happened like about July 27th, and then it got better. Then he kind of tweaked it Sunday, but no big deal. I think he'll be all right.
Crazy.
We'll see anyway. We'll see. All right. So I got a question. All right. Worst case scenario. Joe, I won't say worst case scenario. I'll just put this scenario out. They decided to rest Joe and not play him Monday. For me, if they're going to do that, I think they need to do that now. Like, all right, Browning's going to take all the reps, get him ready for Monday so he can take all the reps and everything, get him totally prepared to play Monday. This whole thing is, which is the way I think they're going to play it, is see how Joe feels, yada, yada. Of course, they want Joe to play. And then if you can't, then Browning might come in. I don't know. What's your thoughts on, should they just shut him down, let Joe or let Browning take the snaps and be the starter Monday, or play it by ear? What do you think?
Did you watch any preseason?
I did.
If Joe is able to stand, if Joe's able to walk, I'm sorry, Jake Browning might be the nicest guy in the world. He was a good quarterback at Washington. He's awful. He's going to be a disaster. Honestly, I think Will Greer might be the next man up.
Yeah,
we'll find out again on Thursday if he's getting any reps at all, second team, whatever. That might tell you a lot about Burrow's, about where he is. But if he can play, I mean, this is something he's going to deal with. Even if he sits out a couple games, it's still something that he's going to be dealing with because it's not going to be totally healed. So if he can make it, I mean, Taylor said he was going to go back out there if they had a chance for a final drive. If they could have made a stop. The defense could have made any stop.
Yeah, that's
the final stop. But
yeah, now Tom here says he heard it on Facebook that he was out. Now I have no clue, dude. I can type stuff on Facebook and say he's out. I mean, there's no official word of anything from the Bengals. Zach said he has nothing to say. Basically, he didn't say anything.
The only thing worse than rumors on Twitter or X is rumors on Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything about not saying Thomas making stuff up. Like I'm not on Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook for years. We'll see, we'll see, but I think he's going to go for it. I would honestly, you look at the next 4 games.
Yeah.
They have the Rams at home, at the Titans. Titans don't really scare anybody anymore.
Mm-hmm.
At Arizona, and then home for the Seahawks. Would it be the worst if they were to put him on IR and miss those 4 games? Like, I don't want him. Like, I think he'll play. I think he'll play, but would it be the worst thing in the world? I think they could go 2-2 with.
But that makes you
non-disaster.
Yeah, but that makes you 2-4 though. So that's. Well, see, I put this. I don't think they're going to put him on IR because that means they're locked in. He's out for 4 games.
Yeah.
I think if anything, they're going to play it by ear. If he can play, he's going to play. I mean, it's up to Joe. I think Joe's going to play. And the thing is, I had so many people going, well, what if he tore it? Well, I mean, I don't think there's any chance he tore it because he's not in a walking boot. He would have went back out there after, if they would have got the ball back, like I said, the defense could have got a stop. He walked off the field. Yes, he limping, whatever. Listen, I don't consider it a limp, but he was ginger on it. He walked to the podium. He's walking around the locker room. He did not tear it. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but if you tore it, I think they would have put it in a boot. So I don't think, me personally, I don't think it's as bad as the first time he did it. Because the first time he did it, they carted his ass off, and we never saw him for a month. This, he went to the podium. He said it's sore, which, I mean, it's going to be sore. And that's the one thing is like, I try to caveat this with people. Is like, we said this all along. There's a chance it could feel perfect. It could feel fine. And for all these people who said, oh, we should have sat him out. And like Jamar says, this is why I should have sat him out for 5 games. Maybe you should have, but I saw him at practice. I saw him running around. He looked fine. And then he looked fine throughout the whole game physically. And the offense started clicking. it was the second to last play that he tweaked it. I mean, so it's like I hate the Monday morning quarterback. Well, you should have done this. Like, okay, well, good. You can say that now. I mean, everybody can say that now. But I mean, and the thing is, when people are like, well, we got to sit him out a couple weeks. You sit him out a couple weeks. And like you said, Jake Browning's a quarterback for a couple weeks. You can kiss the season goodbye. All the Super Bowl hopes, everything. I mean, it's out the window, in my opinion. And so that's where I'm like, if Joe can play, if Joe can walk, I think he's going to play. But they need to change the game plan. I think it needs to be more pound the rock, run the ball, take some of the stuff off Joe until he gets to be 100%. Corey Dillon was on the show yesterday, and I asked him, I said, can you get 100% healthy playing football during the season? He said, you can. He said, it depends on the injury. He goes, it's hard, but he said, you can play through it. And some of these people are saying, well, you can lead to a Achilles injury. I don't necessarily think that's true. I mean, some people message that on Twitter and stuff to me. I'm like, I'm not a doctor. I'm not trying to claim that at all, but I don't think a pulled calf muscle or whatever leads to an Achilles injury. I mean, I know they're connected, but I don't think that's the how it works. But I don't know, dude. It's up in the air. I can see at this point, Joe, I can see it going either way. I can see him playing Monday. I can see Browning playing.
Yeah, I mean, one quick little thing: a muscle pull is technically a tear. So technically he has a torn muscle. It's just a small little bitty tear.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the exact same muscle pull, grade 1 gastrocnemius tear. It hurts like hell. But if my out of shape, and I was 39 at the time, if I could get over it, Burrow's going to get over it and be fine in time. But it's just, he's, how much is the offense going to have to be, cut down? I mean, they even said that they had to pare down the offense for Joe,
right?
In the first 2 games, and it's shown. I mean, they haven't taken as many deep shots. They barely looked at the middle of the field. It's and Natty Ron, I get your point to sit him, but this isn't something that's going to get worse. It's going to be pain tolerance. I mean, he's got a small muscle tear.
That's what Corey said too. Corey said it's pain tolerance mostly.
Yeah. I mean, some days it's going to hurt really, really bad. Some days might be okay until you look at it weird, and then it's going to hurt again. So if he can play with it, he's going to play on it. It's not going to be fine until the end of the season. It's not going to completely go away because it's, maybe. I mean, I get the point, Matt, but I mean, if someone takes a shot to the knee, someone takes a shot to the knee. You can see that what happened with.
Oh yeah, I hate the Browns, but prayers for Nick Chubb, dude. That was awful. Last night, that sucked.
All I saw was an injury, but it's about the Browns game, then an injury to a Chubb, and I thought it had to do with one of Deshaun Watson's accusers coming onto the field.
Oh God, I saw. Unfortunately, I looked it up on the internet. I actually saw the video zoomed in.
It was that. Yeah, that looked bad. There was. Yeah. The only other knee injury, well, McGahee's was bad in the national championship game. The only other one, if you want to go way, 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 way back, and this is going back to my high school, Napoleon Kaufman or Napoleon McCallum.
Yep, for the Raiders. Yep.
Monday Night Football in 1994.
Yes.
I think it was Gary Plummer on the Niners.
I might have been. I don't remember.
Just got stood up, and his knee, his kneecap bent 180, degrees the wrong way.
Yeah, his foot was still standing up, and his leg was standing up, and his body was going the wrong way.
Oh, yeah, that was.
It was not good.
Best athlete ever to come out of good old Milford High School. Yes, we have good athletes on the east side of town. We're just not as. And we're as cool as the West Siders. We're just
I don't know, but I will see. Darth Harris says 8% Burrow equals Greer and Browning, but is 8% Burrow worth a vanilla playbook? Yes. Yeah. I'll take it. Yes. I'll take. Well, I'll put it this way: if you have Browning or Greer, you're going to have a vanilla playbook. You're not. I don't think they're going to have the whole full playbook with them because they're not Burrow. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's like Corey said. Really, to take some stuff off of Joe, we need to pound the rock, and I think they run the ball better yesterday, and I think they can run it on the Rams. I mean, Mixon looks like he's in a different gear to me this year, So I mean, They got to, if either way they go, the playbook has got to be different than it's normally going to be. Either you have a not 100% Joe Burrow or you have a backup quarterback. So it's not going to be the full playbook no matter which way you go right now.
Yeah, I mean, Mixon's averaging 4.4 yards a carry, which is, that's above where he's been the last few years. He's looked really strong, and he's only gotten 13 carries and 13 carries each game. And I've seen some, there's some really good offensive line follows on Twitter, Parker Blake and some of those guys that do a fantastic job. Yeah. Do a fantastic job breaking everything down from the offensive line. And they said it's difficult because this team is entirely geared up to throw the ball, to change the offense, to make it a run-centric offense. But I don't know about that. It's my thing is it's not like they don't have run plays in their playbook. You just run more of them.
Yeah.
And especially, they've got Aaron Donald coming in, and you want to run the ball to keep that guy off balance, to keep him from immediately. I mean, we've got a better interior offensive line than we had in 2021. We get Teddy K, Kappa, and Bolson's still not very good.
I mean, and the one thing I think is funny is people were like still kind of on the offensive line. Like the offensive line played pretty good. I mean, Joe Burrow got sacked once.
Really well.
Yeah, they played fine.
Yeah, I've got the numbers up here because I've got, for my show tomorrow, 1 sack, 1 hit, and 4 hurries. The sack was they gave the sack to Jonah, but Jonah ran his guy 9 yards behind the line of scrimmage. The interior offensive line lost, and it was just Jonah's guy that was able to get him. But the tackles played great. Orlando Brown played like the guy that you spent a crap load of money on. So.
Right. Yeah, so the offensive line is coming around, which, I mean, again, to me, it's going to be a slow start because we didn't play in the preseason. And I've said this before. Last year, we started out 0-2, and we really did not get going to week 4. And last year we were 0-3 in the division. So as long as Joe can manage this thing, and be 80%, like I said, I'll take it 80% Joe Burrow. As long as it doesn't get any worse, which I don't think it. I hate saying I don't think it can always get worse, but I don't know if it can hurt it any more than he does. Because I don't believe the whole Achilles tendon thing. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that's exactly true. But my concern, Joe, is the defense. Because now I'm not trying to throw shade on Lamar. Lamar had a good game. He had, one really good deep ball to Zay Flowers, who I love Zay Flowers. But most of the time, Joe, it was right over the middle, right over the middle, right to the tight end, right to the guy crossing in the middle, where the middle was wide open. And our DBs were there. Sometimes they weren't there, but the middle of the field was completely open. And when we finally got pressure on Lamar, we didn't contain him. And we went up the sides and he ran right up the middle, which in the last couple of years, we've been really good at keeping containment on Lamar. It just seemed like the Ravens had Lou's number and he could not figure out how to protect the middle of the field. One time I saw them stick Drain Pratt in the middle of the field, and they completed it, but it was for like 2 yards or something. That's literally the only time I saw somebody sitting in the middle of the field during that game. So I'm more concerned about the lack of pressure this defense is getting and the middle of the field. I mean, it was pitch and catch, dude. It wasn't. They weren't like tremendous throws, but that's what's your thoughts on the defense?
I'm disappointed. Todd Monken absolutely pulled Lou Anarumo's pants down and spanked his bottom. That should never happen. You've got a quarterback who obviously, they know what Jackson wants to do, and they kind of let him do it. I mean, he did whatever he wanted to. He looked like MVP Lamar. Middle of the field was open because they had a spy on Lamar and kept him closer to the line. So that's, if he's hitting his spots downfield, middle of the field is going to be wide open for him. And Lamar absolutely made some plays. That dime that he dropped right after the interception, very next play, dropped to Zay Flowers. That was an absolute laser. Put it on his helmet.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, you can't put that. I mean, Burrow can't make that play. Burrow doesn't have that arm strength to put, to make that throw.
Now, people in the comment are saying that the defense is out there too long. The defense was not out there too long this week. Last week, yes.
First quarter, they were out.
First quarter, yeah.
The first drive was half the quarter.
Yeah, but but the rest of the game, I don't agree with that because the problems they had about the middle of the field, they had it the entire game. So it had nothing to do with being on the field too long. And them not getting pressure on Lamar had nothing to do with them being in the game till because they never got pressure on him from the beginning of the game to the end. They never got to him. And they were out 2 starting offensive linemen. That's the other thing.
That's what was disappointing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the week before, yes, the defense is out there too long. I think the defense played better against the Browns than they did against the Ratbirds. So I don't agree with people who are saying the defense is out there too long. I mean, anytime I always say the defense is out there too long. I want the ball. I want to go score. Yeah. But the problems they were having was the same problems they had at the beginning of the game, the middle of the game, and the end of the game. They never fixed it, which is surprising with Lou Anarumo because he usually dials something up to change it up.
Yeah, they couldn't. Anytime they tried to bring pressure, they either weren't getting home quick enough, and then that was leaving guys on an island, and he was making throws, or they were sitting back, dropping guys into coverage, and if the guy wasn't there, he was able to escape outside the pocket and either make a throw or escape and get 7, 8, 9 yards. Time of possession again, they had a huge advantage.
First quarter.
They had a huge advantage after the first in the first quarter and most of the first half. But it only ended up being like 33 minutes and change to 26 minutes and change. If the Bengals could have stopped the Ravens on that last drive before the 2-minute warning, Bengals get the ball back, and then it's 31 minutes to 29 minutes. It's almost even.
Yeah, so it's not. That's what everybody always looks at the numbers and stuff. And I'm like, watch. I mean, I'm not talking about watch the game. The
Bengals had the ball. Yeah, Bengals had the ball a lot in the second half. I mean, and drives.
And the offense was starting to go. I mean, if Joe Burrow doesn't throw that interception in the end zone to start the third quarter, it's a different game. If we could stop at 3rd and 28, it's a different game.
Yeah, if they could just make one stop there on that last drive, and Bengals are 3 points down, and I mean, everyone has confidence that Joe's going to be able to at least drive down and put Money Mac in a position to kick a field goal, if not throwing a touchdown.
All right, Tom here is saying something about the Achilles here. He said, calf muscle contracts and shortens, pulls on the Achilles tendon, which is responsible for the plantar flexion ankle motion. But that still doesn't mean it would lead to a torn ACL. I mean, that doesn't. I mean, I look, they're NFL players. You can get a torn ACL or torn Achilles tendon anytime. I mean, like I said, if there's a chance of that, Joe's not going to play. I mean, I'm not saying that. I just don't. From looking at what I saw with my own eyes on the field and afterwards, I think people are jumping to a bit of conclusions about how bad this is. I mean, I think it's sore, but again, I'm not Joe. I have no idea. But I'm just going by when he heard it the first time to compare to how he heard it this time, which I don't think it's the same severity. But again, I'm not a doctor. I have no idea. I'm just going by what I saw on the field. And like I said, I was at practice when he hurt himself and they carted him off. He walked off. I mean, even Zach Taylor said that he would play the next play if they would have gotten the ball back. But they didn't get the ball back. So, I mean, don't take it as I don't think it can turn into an Achilles. It could. I have no idea. I don't think it would directly do that. But anytime you play, you could have that problem. I mean, hell, like I said, Nick Chubb got his knee destroyed last night. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But, I mean, again, back to the defense here. And that I was hoping to see Joseph Osai. I don't even remember him being on the field. I mean, I know he was, but he did not. Huh?
No, he was out.
Joseph Osai didn't play?
Yeah, he was out.
Oh, that's why I didn't see him.
Yeah.
Hell, I thought he was.
I'd be concerned if you did see him because he was inactive.
Oh.
Somebody snuck him in.
I mean, I think he was supposed to play. All right, well, I missed that then. So that's why I didn't see him. But all right, so I'm concerned about the pass rush. Where was it? And like I said, the contained. We sucked at that. We didn't. We when we did contain Lamar, we didn't get to him. And when we actually tried to get up the field, we didn't contain him. I mean, those are things that that Lou does a lot better job of normally.
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson was I'm looking at PFF stats for the game right now. Hendrickson was the only one who even had a decent pass rush grade. He had 70. He had 1 hurry. Now, that being said, he had 2 sacks taken away by penalties. He had the one that was the strip sack and fumble recovery that was taken away by the hands to the face. And that it wasn't an egregious penalty, but it was, I don't think it was bad, but I understand them calling it. They're going to call that 7 out of 10 times.
The one that was awful
the
was
second one. Oh my lord!
Kenny Taylor Britt was awful.
Yeah, and referee barely looked. It looked like Beckham tried to stop his route in the front of the end zone and like almost stopped too fast for his, for himself and lost balance, and then tried to grab Cam Taylor Britt to kind of keep his balance, and then so all the ref looks over because he's looking towards the play, looking towards the action. Looks over real quick when you see the wide shot, sees them falling, and sees Britt's hands because he's falling on top of him.
Right.
Never mind getting pulled down, but
it was a terrible call.
Yeah.
It was absolutely awful. And that I mean, if they
that
don't
took away the other sack, yeah.
Yeah, if they don't throw that. I mean, instead of did they get a touchdown out of that?
They got a field goal. The whole thing was because they called timeout to because of the sack. The time was winding down in the second quarter. And then it gave Lamar time to get a quick 5-yard rush to they got that timeout back, and it gave him time for a 5-yard rush to kind of set it up on the hash that the Tucker wanted. But here's the thing: Justin Tucker's making that kick 5 yards. He's the greatest kicker in NFL history. If it's 50,
I love he missed the first one though. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean 55 yards and in, he's gonna make the kick 95% of the times. I mean, he missed a 59-yarder, and people are like, "Oh my god, he missed the kick."
Yeah,
like that's how many
shocking.
people. How many people in the NFL are making 59-yard kicks that are out there nailing them with such consistency that it's like, oh my god, he missed.
Exactly.
So I mean, he's making that kick regardless. So it really only affected the stats, but it's still annoying.
I'll try to get Keith's comment up here. He said, "I'll die on this mountain. If it was truly as bad as people are thinking, he wouldn't have stood at the podium and talked to the media after the game."
Yeah, he'd begin treatment.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, I'm not trying to say it's not, because I don't know, but just look what they did after the game, So that's where I'm saying, like, yeah. and I know Zach did not give any information, and I know I was listening to Daynard and Mo today a little bit, and they were just saying the tone of Zach's tone of his voice and everything, talking about Joe, where he basically had no answers. He said, "I don't know. We have to wait and see. I'm not ruling him out Monday. I'm not saying he's going to play," or however Zach said it. They said it seemed different. And when Joe came out and said he doesn't know, usually they say, NFL players, "Oh, I'll be fine," and then they're on the IR the next day. So I understand what they're saying. The thing is, I honestly think Zach and Joe are being honest. They don't know,
Yeah, just being candid.
Or they're playing possum, which would be great. But I kind of doubt that, to be honest. But, I mean, I'm going down to practice Thursday. I'm hoping to see Joe out there, hopefully out there practicing. So we'll see. And if he's not, then this is not a bad game for him to sit out. I think it is a winnable game. The Rams are playing good. Don't get me wrong. But
they're playing better than expected.
Yeah. I think we can beat them with our backup quarterback. It's going to be at home, a White Tiger game. So, nature, I agree. It's a must. We got to win. That's the other thing. We got to win this game. And all these people are like, "Oh, we need to shut Joe down for, a month." I'm like, well, then you might as well just forget the season. I mean, that's where I'm like, yeah, I get it. And they're like, "Well, we got to do for his future." I'm like, it's a strained calf. I'm like, unless somebody can definitely tell me that if he plays on it, he's 100% going to tear his Achilles, which nobody said that, then I'm like, dude, you got to get out there and play. And that's kind of what Corey said too.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's 0-2. Okay, this isn't last year, so 0-2 this year isn't 0-2 last year, and so we can't just automatically say, "Oh, we're fine, we're in a good position," because Burrow is dealing with issues as opposed to getting over an appendectomy. But 0-3 just puts you in a huge hole. Now, granted, the AFC hasn't come out as kind of asses on fire as everyone thought. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are 1-1. So, being 2 games back in the wild card type chase isn't the end all. But
I mean, I agree with Tom. I agree with what Tom's saying here. Sitting him this week will not help. He could be dealing with this all season. That's exactly what they've said from the get-go. This could be something that lingers all season, and I think it's going to. So that's where I go back to where I think he's going to play.
Yeah,
that's just my personal opinion. I am no doctor or anything. I think he's going to play.
Yeah, if the pain is bearable, and he's not limited, like his mobility isn't, doesn't make him late stage Dan Marino back there, just an absolute statue, then yeah, I mean, he's going to be out there.
Yeah, and people are like, well, he's hesitant to run out of the pocket. And I was like, well, yeah, I personally don't think he completely trusted his calf. He didn't know because he hasn't done that stuff, until he actually, it's like when you come back from a knee injury, until you actually get hit on your knee, then they're like, oh, okay, it's good, Yeah. It's kind of the same thing with injury. You got to go do the stuff that you will put more pressure on it. And he hadn't done it because I don't think he actually trusted it, but again, for me, more of the reason the offense is not playing like it should be doesn't have anything to do with his calf. It has to do with them not playing, which I guess does have to do with his calf because he didn't play. But all of it, the offense is rust. They did not play in the preseason. We saw this exact same thing last year. They don't play in the preseason. We start off slow. And that's where the offense is at, and that's where Joe is at in general, because just seeing some of the balls he threw, I mean, they weren't off like they were last week, but the timing is still not there, Joe, because I'm watching him coming toward me down the end zone. And normally he throws it before the guys break. And he did do that more in the second half. But the first half, they're breaking, and then the ball is coming. So that's why the windows were so tight, and the passes weren't getting completed, because you usually would throw guys open. The timing isn't there. That's where rust comes in. Like Corey Dillon said, you can't simulate game speed. You can't do it. I mean, preseason can a little bit, but that is, to me, still a lot with what's wrong with the offense is the rust.
Yeah, and again, like I said, in the second half of the game, they looked really like outside of the interception, they looked like the Bengals kind of we expected them to.
Right.
They had four pretty good long drives. They put up 200 and I forget exactly how many yards they had. I had it put up here anyway. But anyway, put up over 200 yards in the second half. Like that looked like what they should do. You take away the interception, and my instant thought on the interception was, God, what a terrible read. I mean, he threw it right to him. He's sitting in the middle of the field, and they just didn't see him. It was actually a good play by the safety. So I'm not even mad about the interception as much as I would, because the throw was on the money. He disguised his coverage, and I think everyone assumed that he was going to take Chase to the corner. And when Burrow kind of dropped his eyes to throw, or started his motion to throw, he broke immediately to the middle of the field and was there. It was just a good play and a good play call.
Well, there's another one too that I want to bring up, and Joe threw a dime, the corner end zone pass to TB,
right through his hands.
Right through his hands. It's right there. Yeah. Again, rust even with the wide receivers. I mean, because normally TB catches that ball. I mean, I saw the replay in Jumbotron. I'm like, dude, it was right there. I mean, Joe couldn't have put it any better. So I mean, look, if Joe doesn't hurt his calf, nobody's talking about it. We're talking about the offense and what's wrong with the offense, and blah, blah, and I'm going to be honest saying it's rust. It's rust. It's coming around. It's just like last year, But again, for me, it's the defense. That's the part that's more concerning, because I think they played better. Don't you think they played better in Cleveland than they did Baltimore?
Oh, they played really well in Cleveland. It was only at the end of the game when they got worn down because the offense couldn't sustain any drive, so they were just constantly out there. I mean, they put so many hits on Watson in the first half, and Chubb was getting yards, but it wasn't. He wasn't out there breaking off long runs. Yeah,
right. I mean, both these games we should have won. I'll put it that way. All right, Tom's got a question here for. He said, "What's your thoughts on Irv Smith Jr.?" My thoughts on Irv Smith Jr. is he's got to get his feet down when he catches a whole shot. I mean, the plays are there. He didn't play a lot in the preseason either, because there was another one, that sideline one where he caught it and then he didn't get his other foot in, and there was another play where I can't remember now, he dropped it or something like that. There's two plays that he had that he should have made. So it's good.
I was gonna say he had 4 targets, 2 catches for 10 yards. He's been my biggest disappointment on offense as a whole. Everyone talked about how he's got a different dynamic than the tight ends that they've dealt with before. And it's not like the Bengals are are trying to replace Rob Gronkowski or anybody like that. Hayden Hurst is a decent tight end, but
Hayden Hurst could break a tackle.
Right. They had CJ Uzomah 2 years ago. CJ Uzomah, he's not a bum. He's a good dude, but he's a backup. He's a backup tight end, and he put up a lot of yards. If you're struggling to put up CJ Uzomah numbers, or if you're looking back at 2021, like, man, I wish we had that guy. Like, you really need to pick it up. So he's been my biggest disappointment. He's not getting not getting any space. Absolutely should have had the one deep sideline pass. I saw an angle. What's that?
I'll say the other one I was thinking about is where he caught it out in open space and had to beat one guy.
Yeah.
And he got tackled by the ankles. And if he gets past
20 yards.
Yeah. Or he might be going to the house.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, there was nobody out there.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And that's where you're going to have to help me with the guy's name. The guy I like from Washington, that's on our practice squad. What is his name again? Do you remember the tight end? The one we were talking about in the training camp?
Tanner Hudson?
Yes, Tanner Hudson.
Yeah.
I want them to give him a shot. I mean, I really liked him in the preseason. I mean, I liked what I saw from him. I think he is a guy. And Drew, one time they had Drew Sample broke out wide, which I'm going, really? Are they really going to throw it to Drew Sample? I'm like, okay. But that's one that, that's who I would like to see give a shot. But yes, I am disappointed in Irv Smith. Just those two plays right there. The thing, he's not going to get a lot of balls. I mean, the tight ends are not featured in this offense, but when you get them and you have a chance to make an impact play, he had it twice and he didn't do it on either one. That's what you have to do that.
Yeah. I mean, tight end is probably like the fifth most targeted spot. I mean, you got your 3 wide receivers. Mixon gets more targets. And if I'm not mistaken, I think last year P. Ryan had more targets than Hayden Hurst. And yeah, they don't value tight ends. They didn't make a priority signing, and they didn't draft one when this was probably the deepest tight end draft literally ever. And they had spots to where they were high valued tight ends, and they just passed them. I mean, that told you how you valued them. But I think they better. Now you're on. Like he needs to start winning one-on-one matchups. He's fast enough.
He doesn't have huge.
Well, he doesn't have the huge tight end size because he's only 6'1", but he's still a big body.
Big dude though.
He's a big wide receiver. Is what he is. He's like 6'1", 240, and he's faster than linebackers. If you can't be one-on-one with linebackers or be able to body up a safety, because you got 20 pounds on most safeties.
And you got to be able to get your feet in bounds, and you got to be able to get out of a shoestring tackle. You got to make those plays. Those plays you've got to freaking make. He makes those 2 plays. Honestly, it's a different game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
the whole shot that whole shot was absolutely money. Dropped it right in. Yeah. And he just couldn't get his couldn't get his body turned around fast enough to get his seat, to get his feet set. And like, dude, this is what you're there for. You're here because you're someone whose only downside was health. Well, you're healthy. Do something. And I get they need to run more routes down the middle of the field. Mm-hmm. The Rams linebackers are pretty bad in coverage. If they are not running linebackers in the seam routes or down the seam, running Boyd and Chase on quick slants or running mesh concepts, they're screwing up wrong. Like RPO, hold the ball and hit Chase on a quick slant over the middle. They need to be doing that all game long. It's going to be a quick pass to keep Aaron Donald off him. I've got issues with Zach Taylor, the play caller. And if I'm not a football guy, I've never coached, I've never played it down in my life. But if I can see these things and be like, what, this is something that they need to be trying to exploit and they don't. Mm-hmm. Like, come on.
And the thing is, this game was a typical AFC North battle.
Yeah.
This is what these games are. I even said it's going to be a close game. All these games I think are going to be close. I mean, we beat each other up. And like I said, the Ratbirds and the Bengals, they played each other back-to-back weeks into the season last year, and they played each other week 2. So they played each other a lot in the last, 2 seasons. So they know each other better than anybody, which that goes back to surprises me of how bad our defense looked. Because I know they had a new offense, but it's still the same thing. You got to contain Lamar and you got to get pressure on him. And we didn't do it, And the thing is, again, I got to give credit to Lamar. The passes that he made were there because there's a couple of them. Our DBs are right there, but the pass is perfect. Where it's to his guys and nobody else. So I do got to give credit to Lamar. About how he did play, but a couple of them, I could have made the pass because he's standing back there. He could have made a sandwich and breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then threw the ball. He had so much freaking time.
Yeah, and Matt makes the point. The only issue with RPO, the team has to have Burrow as a runner. I don't buy that at all. The Bengals put in a lot of RPOs at the end of last year. Burrow isn't going to run. No. It's a matter of just getting seeing if the safety is going to bite, seeing if the linebackers are going to bite, pulling it out and making the throw. It's not about Burrow running. It's about whether they're going to hand it off to Mixon or Williams, Brown, whoever's in the backfield next to him.
Yeah. I agree with Jeremy here. We didn't have a spy on Lamar at all.
They on that last third down they did. Wilson was there, and Wilson was there, and then he just got caught up in the wash, unfortunately. So it was, and I'm concerned about the defensive performance, but I'm also more confident that they'll be able to get their shit together, if that makes sense. This is 9.5 starters from last, not 9.5. I mean, I guess Dak still didn't really start, but these are 10 guys that were that played, that they were together last year. Nick Scott's the only one who's new or battle. It depends. I haven't heard how Nick Scott is injury wise, but these are guys. They're going to get it together. This was a game to where like they're used to Lamar Jackson running one way. They had 1 week of footage from him, with their new updated offense, and this was Lamar Jackson playing balls out and Todd Monken having a really great game plan and having a great system that's going to allow Lamar to thrive. I was really surprised.
Yeah, unfortunately, like you said, he handed Lou his shorts. I mean, that's.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if we have a somewhat adequate defensive game, get off a third down a couple more times, we win the game.
Stop. They just need one stop at the end. Yeah, and the Bengals get the ball back with 2 minutes.
And Joe Burrow's your quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. Even a hobbled Joe Burrow. Again, would they win? I mean, can't guarantee they would win, but could they drive 40 yards and get into Evan McPherson field goal range? Absolutely.
Right. So we'll just see. I mean, the biggest thing, like I said, as long as Joey's healthy, I think I saw steps where the offense was looking like it was starting to come around. I didn't see any steps for the defense to look like he was coming around at all the entire game. So that's why I keep rolling back to that. That's, to me, besides Joe's calf, that's the more concerning part of this team and where we're at is the defense. And I think I have full trust in Ludini that he'll get it figured out. I'm just shocked he didn't do it during the game.
Yeah, I mean, Miles Murphy was playing his second game. So how much, I don't want to say he's a project per se, but he's someone who they knew wasn't necessarily going to be an immediate contributor because Joe Osai was out. Cam Sample was dinged up. So they didn't have their full complement of
I don't know how I missed Osai not Lunder. I didn't see him. I'm like, man, he didn't do nothing because he wasn't out there.
Yeah. So
and honestly, I think that's gonna be a big deal to get him out there. I think he is going to be an impact player for us.
I'm disappointed they weren't able to get anything on the inside. Again, backup center. I mean, Tyler Linderbaum's a hell of a center, and they're growing with the backup. And DJ Reader got the most. I think he had the most pressures, but he's not in there on passing downs.
He's not, and that's not his game. I mean, he can get pressure, but that's not his game. He does, but that's not what he's known for. He's more of a run stopper than he is, putting pressure up the middle. That's more. Yeah. I think Zach Carter had a good game. I saw him have a couple good plays.
He had a couple plays, but as a whole, he really didn't get much pressure.
Well, none of them did. That's the biggest problem. Like I said, Lamar had so much time. It was just mind-numbingly frustrating. I'm like, we got to get more pressure on him. I'm like, here's the 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. You're up to like 5, 6, 1,000. He's still got the ball. It's like, geez, and that's the thing is, you can be the greatest DB in the world. You can't cover a guy for 10 seconds. I mean, that's too long. That ball is good. You got to get the ball out of there or sack him, one of the two.
Yeah, 21 pass rush snaps for Zach Carter, and he was credited with 0 pressures.
Yeah. Did anybody have any pressures?
How
did Trey do?
He had a decent grade. It was 70.4, but he only was credited with 1 pressure in a hurry. But again, he had 2 sacks that were negated by penalties too. Yeah. So that's but I really think they need to let off the gas on Sam Hubbard because he's never been a great pass rusher.
No. And
they quit putting him, moving him into the inside during pass rush snaps. So if he's out there on a third down and it's pass situation, they're missing, like they're losing that rep on end because he's not.
Well, that's where you miss Joseph Osai. That's where I say you put him out there, put Sam on the inside, and go for it.
You line up a Ferrari thing. You put Hubbard and Miles Murphy on the inside because Murphy's a huge dude. He's 6'5", 280. I mean, he's got a frame the
right.
size of a friggin',
I've been talking about that all summer. That's
Yeah.
the NASCAR package. Oh, they'll get those 4 out there. I've been waiting for that. We haven't got to see because Osai hasn't been healthy. But yeah, that's one that I am looking forward to.
Yeah,
all right,
like Matt says, Miss Ogunjobi. Yeah, I think that was the hope that Zach Carter would be able to provide.
That's what he has to do.
Yeah, that's what they're hoping. He was going to be able to provide the push, and I'm still hopeful. I'm high on Zach Carter this year. I think last year they couldn't really expect much from him because he was being moved from defensive end to tackle and he wasn't big enough yet. I think he'll get there, but yeah, if they're able to replicate the pass rush combo they had with BJ and Larry in 2021.
I've said that the last couple of years we still haven't replaced him. That's what Zach was hoping to be. And I was once, Larry got cut from the Bears. I was hoping he was going to come back. Yeah. So and that rolls me back to if we let DJ go, we haven't replaced Larry. Oh, we let DJ go. Yeah. I don't know what we're going to do. That's scary to me. But let's roll into a little bit of Reds talk here because they are in the playoffs right now, as of right now. And just some interesting words from Joey Votto about how this could be his last homestand as a Red. I don't know if he's going to retire or not. I don't think he's thought that far in advance, but I'm planning on going down Sunday to possibly watch his last game as a Cincinnati Red. And it's still cool. I still don't know how the Reds are doing it because, Connor Phillips pitched freaking 7, 8 innings last night?
7 innings.
Innings. Lights out. Look like a freaking veteran. I don't know how they're doing this. I literally don't. Ashcraft's done for the year. Hunter Green looks like he's back. Lodolo's out for the year. You got Hunter Green and you got a whole bunch of rookies. And duct tape and super glue. That's what our pitching staff is right now.
Smoke mirrors and someone's got some kind of voodoo shaman there that's putting this. I don't know. It's the weirdest. Look at their record with Luke Weaver on the mound. Right. They won 8 consecutive starts with Weaver, and he couldn't get out of the 3rd inning.
Right.
This is just the weirdest damn season. How is it that last year the Reds lost 100 games, and this past weekend the best thing to come out after UC and the Bengals and the Reds were the Reds?
Yeah.
Reds won 2 out of 3. Unfortunately, they kind of got taken behind the woodshed on Sunday, so they weren't able to sweep the Mets. But I don't understand. They've got Matt McLean's going to be coming back soon. Noelvi Marte looks like he looks like a young Manny Machado over there.
Oh yeah, he looks like a stud.
He's defensively. He's absolutely fantastic. Offensively, I really still feel bad for the guy because he looks rough from taking the ball to the face.
Yeah,
his eyes are still swollen. He's still.
Well, he's still out there playing.
Yeah, he just hits absolute ropes all over the field, and he's yet to even tap into his power, and he's going to be a 30 home run guy. He's got 1 home run, and he's still got a slash 300, 380, and 480 or something, whatever his slugging percentage is. He's going to be a monster, and he's only a few months older than Ellie. He's a better ball player than Ellie is right now.
We got 4 21-year-olds on this team. And Steer, to me, Steer is like the MVP of this team.
Blue,
be able to play multiple positions, and he doesn't miss a beat. Wherever they put him, he plays very consistent defense, and he still rakes.
Yeah,
it's so much fun to watch this team, and that's one thing Joey Votto was saying is he's had so much fun on this team. This is the most fun. He said these guys are some of the most fun teammates he's ever had. So it is going to be interesting this weekend to think back. I always think back to what could have been, should have been. During Votto's career, I wish we had better teams for him, because most of his, career after he signed the contract, we didn't sign anybody and he was on crappy teams. But this weekend, I'm going to watch him and just enjoy watching Votto for possibly the last time in a Red uniform at GABP, because he's going to be his next stop. If he retires this year or whatever, is going to be Cooperstown.
Absolutely.
He's gonna be a first ballot Hall of Famer of what he's done, and for him to be so cool for him if he does end it, for him to end it at least in the playoffs. I love the Reds. I don't think we're going to go very far into playoffs, just because we just don't have the pitching. Maybe I'm wrong because I thought we were done, back in August when we weren't playing as good. But they've put it together. I mean, what's your thoughts on just going forward here the last 2 weeks of the season?
Honestly, I'm surprisingly more optimistic about the pitching than I thought I would be.
Really?
Here's the thing: if they get into a wild card, if they get into the wild card, 3-game series, right?
Yeah. No, wait.
Yeah, 3-game series.
Well, if you get the last one,
it's best 2 of 3, like in the wild card.
Well, I thought if you got the last one, it was a 1-game playoff,
Yeah.
isn't that? Are they aware of that?
Yeah, the 4 and 5 teams play each other, and then the 6 seed plays.
Oh, okay, good. I hated the 1-game playoff.
Yeah,
okay,
because they added. They added another.
I can't. All the change I couldn't remember. Okay, good. All right, so 3 out of 4. Go ahead.
So you have Hunter Green,
right?
Who he's pitched absolutely lights out. I don't expect him to pitch that well, but
hopefully.
I mean,
we need him to.
Yeah, exactly.
Abbott.
Andrew Abbott, even if he's going to be on an innings limit, and Brandon Williamson. Williamson hasn't pitched well since he came back from COVID, but he was on an absolute run.
That last one, he started pretty good, I thought, didn't he? His last start?
I think it started out okay, but then he petered out. And
did he? Okay.
It was only 4 innings or something. Okay. I think he pitches.
But yeah, those are most likely your 3 starters.
Yeah, and then you've got Ben Lively, who's been, again, he's not great by any means, but he's been a hell of a lot better than anyone could expect. And Connor Phillips, if you have him, see what I would do. Again, there's no reason anybody should ever try to, use me as, a general manager in any sport, but they're trying to manage Andrew Abbott's innings. He's kind of showing a little, slowing down, trying to have a little bit of a dead arm area or period. I would piggyback Andrew Abbott and Connor Phillips. Throw Abbott first 2 times through the lineup. He's throwing 94, 95 with with the sweeper up from the left side. And then you bring in Phillips, who's gonna let it go a little more, and he's gonna be throwing upper 90s with his really good slider. Yeah, his cutter. He got somebody in the 7th inning. It was the 2nd out, I believe. Absolutely dotted a corner against the right-hander, bottom low and away corner. Absolutely just dotted it. Just one of those like, this guy was in Double-A in June.
Right.
And then he blew a fastball, or no, he threw a slider, just an absolute wipeout slider to get the last out in the 7th. That gave up a solo home run, so it's 4-2, and then he strikes the next 2 guys out like an absolute boss. And
it's not like Minnesota is a pushover. They're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean they're decent. Now, granted, AL Central is absolutely terrible, so
still in the playoffs though.
Right, exactly. I mean they've got a ton of good hitters. They've had 10 guys that have 10 or more home runs. They've got a deep lineup. And he rolled him, mowed him down, 2 solo home runs.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm excited. I mean, they got 2 weeks left. I mean, it's the fate of the Reds is in their own hands. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything more. I mean, you go out there and you put your best foot forward, and you got to give credit to this bullpen too, because that was one of the weakest spots we thought going into the season. And here down the stretch toward the end, they're pitching their asses off, dude. Because they've had, because I think last night, or was it? Yeah, Connor Phillips pitched last night, right? Okay. Last night he pitched into the 7th inning. That was the first time anybody pitched. I think past the 5th in like a month or something like that.
It's been several weeks.
Yeah. So I mean, this bullpen is. I'm surprised their arms aren't falling off as much as they've had to throw.
Yeah. Thankfully, they've been able to back off with them. Like at least after the All-Star break, playing poorly, and then the games that they have had, they haven't been as many tight games. I don't think. Diaz, has kind of slowed down his usage a lot in the second half, which is fantastic because he was starting to show signs of being human. So now, end of the season, come playoff time, he should have plenty of gas left in the tank. But the rest of the guys, even now, like I've got Baseball Reference up right now, and I'm looking at Buck Farmer's numbers, Ian Jabot's numbers, Lucas Sims, Alex Young, Fernando Cruz. I don't want any of these guys pitching. Like, they scare the shit out of me when they come into the game and it's tight. But you look at the numbers and it's like, Derek Law's an ERA plus of 122.
Right.
Ian Jabot is 150, the Pillsbury throw boy. Like, he's been really good, and I don't understand it because he's always walking the first batter.
Right.
Or giving up a 480-foot home run, when it's ill-advised. Usually he's giving up a rope when he comes in and gives up an inherited runner. But you look at their numbers and you're like, no.
Right? That's
They're
my
doing it.
whole thing. Like, how
Yeah.
are they doing this? I have no explanation for it. I mean,
Stan Mall's been absolutely 21 games since he came over to the Reds. He's got a 0.9 ERA, 5.20 ERA plus, which for those that don't know ERA plus, 100 is league average. So he's 5.2 times, his ERA is 5.2 times better than the average pitcher since he came over to the Reds. Giving up less than a runner per inning. I mean, for him being the only trade deadline pickup, at least you can say, hey, we got something. A left-hander who can get both sides, get lefties and righties out. And they still scare me, but
they all scare me. All this,
they can do it.
All the pitchers scare me. I mean, even the starters. I mean, right? Because Andrew Abbott, he's been our most consistent one, but dude, he's tired.
Yeah.
And it looks like every other, to me lately, it looks like every other start, he's either exhausted or he's on.
Yeah.
That's where, he's pitching the most innings he's ever pitched. So,
by far and away. I mean, he blew that out of the water early in the summer.
Right. Exactly. Augie's cracking me up here. He's a Bengals fan, but a Yankee fan. He says, can we go back to the cap? MLB postseason is canceled. And it's canceled for you, Augie, because the Yankees are not going to the postseason.
I remember way back when the Yankees were actually like a threat to win titles. They have one title in the past. I mean, they're not going to win it this year. One title in the past 22 years. That's been a long time. I mean, yeah, the Reds haven't been great, but
man, it's a long
2000,
time. You okay?
2000 was a long time ago, and then
long time, Augie.
When 2009, and that was it.
He says he's rooting for us. Yeah, I know you are, dude. I'm just giving you shit. So all right, so we've got about 56 minutes here. Let's get into the Bearcats here and to the victory bell. I mean, it was a disappointing weekend for Cincinnati football. If you're a Bengals fan, if you're a Bearcat fan, if you're a Ohio State fan, you had a good weekend. But the Bearcats, mind-numbingly frustrating. We beat them in every aspect except the score. I mean, if he doesn't go for it on fourth down there in the first drive and kicks a field goal, we'll win the game. If we can learn how to block everybody on a game-winning field goal, we win the game. Miami played like they literally had nothing to lose. The first play of the game, bomb, touchdown. They were like, we're here. We're going to take shots. And, shout out to the coach. I keep on calling him Cunningham. That's not his freaking name. What's the coach's name?
At Miami?
No, UC. I can't.
Scott Satterfield.
Satterfield. Yeah, I keep on calling him Cunningham. Cunningham's the athletic director.
Yeah, that's it.
Satterfield. Big shout out to him for big balls on that fake punt. That took guts to call that. I did not see that coming. No. Do all that, and we still freaking lose. So what's your thoughts on the Bearcats game Saturday night?
It was a rough day for the Big 12 in general. Oklahoma State got steamrolled by South Alabama. South Alabama steamrolled Oklahoma State 33-7. Yeah. Missouri beat Kansas State 30-27. Ohio beat Iowa State. Remember when Matt Campbell was getting NFL buzz?
Yeah.
Man, that was a long time ago. So the Bearcats losing a rivalry game is, even though, they should absolutely steamroll the Redhawks. They should, by 3 touchdowns, even on a bad season.
We couldn't score in the red zone.
They had 7 trips in the red zone. They scored 1 touchdown, 3 field goals, interception, turnover on downs, and blocked field goal. Yeah.
You take one of those field goals, you get a touchdown, you win.
Exactly. And Natty Ron, the Big 12 is trash. Apparently Texas is back. Like they look legit. Oklahoma, they look pretty decent. We'll see. And I'll be there in person to see how they look against the Bearcats. I'm hoping the Bearcats come out. It's a noon game. I hate noon kickoffs. The student section is still
big noon kickoff's going to be there, baby.
Yeah, it's awesome that they're getting national pub, but Fox is coming after a loss to a MAC team, so you wonder how much that's going to kind of damper things.
Mm-hmm. Like he said, this should have been a tune-up game for the Sooners. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
It should have.
Yeah,
it should have been. I mean, it's just look. I didn't expect Miami to never beat us,
right?
But that's they shouldn't have won. We beat them in every freaking category except the score, and that's the only one that matters. It's just frustrating. Now, Nature on here said he's not sold on the coach yet.
No, nobody is.
I'm leaning toward more sold on him because not that I wasn't sold on him to begin with. I just didn't know anything about him. I like the guys he brought in. Avery, I think he's a hell of a quarterback. I think the wide receivers. I think
Emory Jones.
I keep calling him Avery. Emory Jones. I think he's a hell of a quarterback. The wide receivers they brought in, I think, are really good players. I thought he's brought good guys in. I like the coaching scheme, the offense. I mean, dude, we ran up and down the field until we got in the red zone, and I didn't see that the first 2 weeks. The ends, now we played. You say Miami was a tougher competition. It's more of an intense game. I just don't understand. That's the puzzling thing to me is trying to get in the end zone. Why was that so freaking hard for us?
I don't know. Jones didn't have a great game. 18 to 34, 265 yards, no touchdown, 2 picks.
Mm-hmm.
The pick on the last play in overtime, that was him absolutely just trying to make something happen.
Yeah.
They ran the ball really well. Jones ran for 20 carries for 101 yards. Ryan Montgomery, 20 carries for 104 yards. Corey Kiner, 14 for 31. He had kind of a down game. He'd been running the ball lights out the first 2 games, but
right.
Yeah, they had 538 total yards compared to 358. You outgain your opponent by 180 yards.
You should win.
Yeah.
You should win. Easily. You should win going away.
Yeah. Turnovers, bad play calls. I didn't like the play calls. I don't know.
I just didn't like the play calls in the end zone. Because it's like they kept wanting to run it right up the middle, and Miami knew that's what we were going to do. They kept stacking the middle up, and then we couldn't run it. It's like you didn't do any fade to the corner, play action, RPOs. Like all the imagination went out the window when we got to the red zone. It was like, all right, line them up, man on man, and we're going to run it in. I'm like, well, that didn't work.
It was Marvin Lewis Bengal shit. It's asshole puckers up so tight when you get into something that's a clutch situation or an important game. So and that's exactly what it looked like. If you had told me before the season the Bearcats would be 2-1 going into Oklahoma, okay, cool. That's kind of what I expect, but I'd expect that loss to come from Pitt.
Yeah.
Not, Pitt has a great defensive line and the Bearcats had a questionable offensive line. They're 2-1. They lose to
Miami.
They lose Maction, and it's like,
at home. That's it. What's even worse is it's not at Miami. It's at home at Nip at Night where we had 19, 20 game winning streak at Nip at Night or something like that.
It was a lot. They've lost 2 of their last 3 home games. They lost the game to at the end of the season last year to Tulane, and they beat Eastern Kentucky, but
boat race
run, and lose to a MAC team, and then you've got a legit, top. I think Oklahoma's 16th now. You've got top 20 school coming in. A legit top 10, what are they? Top 5, top 7 national program of all time.
Yeah. It's gonna be a test. I can't say I'm confident we're going to win.
Yeah.
But if they play to their potential, they're going to be in this game. I'll put it to you that way because this crowd is going to be nuts. The crowd is going to be freaking crazy. It's first Big 12 game ever at Nippert.
Yeah.
So the crowd is going to be crazy. The team's going to be into it. And maybe who knows? Maybe they were looking ahead. They look past Miami too much to Oklahoma. And that happens sometimes.
See, that's what bothers me though, is because the first play from scrimmage, 81-yard touchdown over the top, should have waken you up. If you were overlooking them, that's a punch in the mouth. That we can't take. We can't let off the gas. Take it serious, and you should beat the ever-loving hell out of those guys. So that's
Miami's like, we're here. We ain't going nowhere.
Exactly. So you worry about that, but then scoring the first play, and you're like, that should be wake up moment. Like, okay, this is this is serious. We got to take care of business. So
exactly. All right, man. Joe, I appreciate you being on for an hour and 4 minutes. Do me a favor, plug some stuff for me. Tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find us on YouTube or on Twitter. You can see right there at TR Bengals Show. We are the Bengals Show presented by the Riverfront. If you guys go to youtube.com/RiverfrontCincy, subscribe to our channel. We've got the Riverfront, do the Red Show, longest running Reds podcast ever. We've got Late Night Reds with Tim Daniel.
Which I still haven't been invited on, by the way, Tim, if you're watching. Just saying. Yeah.
I will say something. Tim's a good friend. But again, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/RiverfrontCincy, We are picking a lucky new subscriber to win tickets to the October 15th Bengals matchup versus the Seahawks.
I already got the tickets.
And you're already subscribed anyway. Like I would if I picked your number, because I'm picking them. So if I saw you come up, no, sorry, this was an error.
Jeff who? I don't know that guy.
Right.
Strawberry what? Or somebody, what do they call it? Somebody on when I do the talkbacks on Tony Pike's show, somebody called me strawberry shortcake or something like that. Like, yeah, that guy. Who's that guy? Anyway, go make sure you guys follow Joe. Go watch the show. He does a good job. Go follow guys in Riverfront. I'm gonna go watch the Reds. They should be starting here in any minute, right?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
There we go. All right, get the hell out of here. I want to watch the Reds game.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye, Joe. Hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. Joe's a good dude. Make sure you guys go follow him and all the guys on the Riverfront. They do a great job on there. Reds. Who are they playing? I can't remember who the hell they're playing tonight. There, hold on. Joe's still there. Oh, let's see here. Who are they playing tonight?
Twins.
Oh, it's still the Twins. Okay, yeah, thanks. All right, not caring about it again. Playing the Twins tonight. Would be another big win. Get hopefully a game in front on the playoff chase here. But let me get to the Facebook groups that let me live stream, man. I appreciate every single one of them. They're Houday Nation, Houday Legion, Bearcat Ruckus, Radical Reds, the Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Bar. And then you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter X, TikTok. Twitter X is at Jeff A. Trenable. TikTok is at Iceman90. Also on Threads. I'll be pulling this out later on tonight. Put it on the podcast on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. Leave a 5-star review and a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. YouTubers, you guys are awesome. We're at 2,354 subscribers. As always, I appreciate every single one of you guys. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you guys coming on, watching the show every single day. Tomorrow. All right. It's kind of, I think I got Jeff Hobson on, as long as he doesn't forget. I potentially have Wayne Box Miller. So I could have 2 guests on tomorrow or 1. I might be moving Wayne to Friday and might be Jeff Hobson by himself tomorrow, or it might be both of them. I don't know. Anyway, it'd be interesting. Thursday, Anthony Cosenza will be on. He was supposed to come on today. He couldn't come on today, so Joe was kind enough to come on today, and Anthony's going to be on Thursday. Got all that straight? Cool. So make sure you subscribe so you can get all that. Anyway, I'm going to get on out of here. You guys have a wonderful day, and we are going to watch the Reds win and hopefully get into the playoffs. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Other than that, that's just sports, baby. See ya!